Hello, my loves! I'm just waiting for the stream to sync up. I know it takes a few seconds. Welcome to I'm Woke. I'm your host, Emelina. In today's video, I'm gonna jump into soulmate relationships. I'm gonna give you the TLDR. I would consider myself to be in the relationship expert territory, specifically around soulmates. I've been working through and scrubbing through my mind like a lot of different aspects of soulmate relationships, and I realize I have a lot of knowledge that people don't, so I'm here to share it right now, and whatever wants to stream through on behalf of Source to you guys. So if you're new to my channel, new to my world, hello, welcome. My name is Emelina. I'm a cosmic shaman, a high performance life and business coach, a psychic medium. I post spiritual and personal development videos, lots of energy updates, anything that Source wants to send through me, anything that I want to send through me, right? Like my higher aspects and truth of myself that want to come out through my expression as well. So if that is your jam, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell for notifications. I also love talking to you guys and hearing from you guys. So drop a comment below with anything that resonates or any questions you have, and I will go through and answer them. Also, I have a free guided meditation. It is the Sacred Rainbow Flame of Creation that I really think you're going to love, and you can get a hold of that link for free in the description link below. And one more PSA, if you have not seen the most recent meditation activation video I posted this week, it is dramatic in the best of ways. It's the activation for mental clarity and peace of mind. If you go on my live streams, you can find it there, and I think you guys are gonna love it. I'm already getting a lot of feedback from people that it is really shifting and changing their energy, removing any external energy from your energy fields. It's a huge clearing, and like the last 2 days I've been sitting with it, and I'm like, oh my God, like I didn't realize how much of a haze of other people's BS that I had in my etheric body. Now that it's gone, she's in her hot girl era. Not that I wasn't before. Some of the women need to hear this out there, okay? Every year we get hotter, we get sexier, and it's just good. Just vibe it, go with it. What else do I want to say about that? Just go through the meditation, the activation. Trust me, it's an hour long. The actual activation is 30 minutes. The second 30 minutes, essentially, I'm explaining it. And there is a good like warm-up grounding in the beginning of the meditation that you can do or you can skip. I recommend it, but it depends on how much time you have. So that's what I've got there. I'm happy to have you guys here. I saw a couple of your comments, and I'm just going to stream of conscious talk about different soulmate relationships. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of context as well. Because I feel like you're going to need my background just to understand where all this information comes from and my channeling abilities. So, soulmates. Let's talk about soulmates. Dear God. All right. The first thing I'm going to cut through is there's no one soulmate. There's lots of soulmates. All right. We have extended soul family that incarnates with us on Earth, depending on which timelines and vibrational realities you are existing in. You will meet them or not meet them. Some soulmate contracts are predestined. They are set ahead. They are here to help, support, or love you in whatever number of ways you have previously agreed to. I'll give you an example. I have a number of those that I met when I was very, very young. They are dear best friends of mine. I have one that I met in college, dear best friend. Those are like soulmate contracts, like predestined contracts. Like we all agreed to come into this life together to help each other out with specific areas of our lives. Now, where they're leading me to next is that if you want to be connected to lots of soulmates, and these are soulmate friendships, these are, let's stick to the friendships for now, okay? I'll go into the romantic partners as well. But soulmate friendships, here's the deal. There are a lot of soulmates on this planet right now that are in your soul group. The way that the soul is like born, if you will, I won't go into the specifics of it because it really doesn't matter, like the details, but it's like, it's kind of like a family. Okay, so you have your immediate family unit, then you have an extended family unit, and then you have like a further extended family unit, like I don't know, like fourth cousins or whatever. Like, so there, all of those different family units are soulmates at the soul level. Like we have the same kind of structure of a family unit as we do as humans. So the chances of you like running into a soulmate are very high. It's just like which degree of the like inner circle is that soulmate in, and then depending on the strength of that like bloodline or connection, which is just a soul bloodline, will give you the strength of that bond, which is both beautiful and a pain in the ass depending on which side of you're looking at it, and I'll explain that as well. I don't know that anyone's going to explain soulmates the way that I do, so we're here for it. Soulmates are a soul bond. They are soul family. Now, if you understand anything about family, you know that you could have a bond with someone that feels so tight-knit and deep, but that, you know, like we have family bonds, but you might not get along with them. Or like you might have a lot of differences. Or there might be a purpose in your life for them being here to reflect and teach you things you need to know, and you might not know exactly what that is. I'm going into that because I want to, how to explain this? Dissolve some of the ideas that a soulmate is like, there's permanence behind it, and that they're perfect. And I'm going in the generic soulmate category. I will go into the romantic category after this. But I'm more explaining this because I'm just seeing Jackie. Oh, cute. I'm just reading your comments as we go through. Okay, so I can't read comments. I get so distracted, but I love you guys, so I want to read them. Okay, so let me think real quick. I don't know who in the audience specifically I'm speaking to, but I think it's more that I'm not trying. I am acknowledging that there is an over-romanticism, and don't hate me, you know, like I'm as romantic as they get, but like there's like an over-romanticism or over-idealism around like soulmates at any level, including the friendship levels and stuff. Now, that's not, I'm more leaning into that because I know that like the trend of the way people think is in that direction. So I'm going to give a little less credit to the things that are really beautiful because I just think people already know it, but we'll touch on it right now. Obviously, the right soulmates that vibe with you, that are on the same wavelength, the same trajectory, the same-ish like soul mission as you, are amazing. They're soul family, right? And in the typical sense that we think, it's like, okay, you've got your you've got your birth family, depending on how you feel about that, and then you've got your chosen family, which are generally soulmates that are here to love and support you in exchange. You know, you're doing the whole thing in exchange for you loving and supporting them. I've got a beautiful soul family. I have many, many good soulmate relationships that I adore, that I have no issues with. Like, they're all amazing. The reason why I wanted to touch on this topic is to be the voice for all of the gray in between the more confronting soulmate relationships that are karmic relationships, for us to begin to understand why we can love someone so deeply and simultaneously feel like they might not be right for us, or right for this position in our life, or that something's not going to work out, or what have you. And even now that I'm thinking back on the soulmate relationships that I have that I adore, some of them we've had long breaks. No discredit, no fights, just like there are points where you're like either in resonance or not, and that's fine too. And Spirit's telling me right now to remind you guys as well that right now we're in a big period of quantum leaping, quantum jumping. I don't know if you guys have noticed, for me and pretty much everyone I know, it feels like every 24 hours is like a freaking time warp. Like, I feel like I'm living lifetimes within 24-hour periods. The amount of information that I'm processing through, and pretty much everyone I know has been on board with saying the same thing to me, that we're all kind of experiencing reality in this way, which is like really wild. The people that stay with you, that are consistent in your life while you are going through this like timeline jump, timeline warps, are soulmates. They're the ones that can jump with you. Human relationships tend to fall away, and by human I mean like ones that don't have a soul connection, tend to fall away really quickly when we start timeline hopping. The ones that stick are soulmate relationships. And this is just where I'm being led, so I'll just give you an example. So I met up with one of my dear, dear friends yesterday. He is a soulmate, and I haven't seen him in like months, I don't know, 3-4 months. And it was hilarious because like literally, like we started talking as if we like had a conversation the day before. And I just stopped and I was like, hold on. I was like, how are you? I was like, I haven't spoken to you in months. Like, how did we just pick up like that? And it's literally just because that's a soul clan. I do the same with all of my other ones, but I feel like a lot of them I'm in contact with right now pretty regularly. But the ones that I'm not, you kind of just like pick up where you left off, because you didn't really leave off anywhere, because you're having all of this etheric catch up. You know, the way that I explained this to one of my other soulmates, like I'm like, oh, we're just like passing notes in the 5D, and then when we catch up in the 3D, it's like, oh yeah, okay, sweet, okay, we're caught up, okay, we got enough notes, we reconciled all of the like data that was going on, and then you kind of just like pick up and run. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts. Give me a sec, you guys. Okay, so now I kind of, let me think. All right. Oh, I think I was going to tell you a little bit about the context. So the context, my ascension path, my ascension growth work has been primarily in relationships. I'm a Libra, kind of comes with the territory, but even more for the South Node Libras, which I am. And it's just like, I work through my ascension through people, through relationships. So I'm one of those, I would say, rare people that is given a lot of soulmates, and I've had a lot of soulmate romantic relationships, so that I can learn through the depth of a soul bond what is like karmic behavior versus what is healthy unconditional love, and the different ways that that comes through, and what we pull out of people based on what we think is real, or what we think is love, or what we expect, what we're willing to compromise, what we're not willing to compromise. I hope this makes sense. I don't know. You guys are gonna have to let me know if you vibe with this stream. I'm literally just like going off on my soulmate tangent because I just felt like I needed to get it out of my system. Thanks for being here. I adore you guys. All of you that watch this in the future, all of you watching now, thank you. And lots of love. Okay, so I guess let's dive into the romantic side. So, you know, it's so interesting. Like here, most of you will not be given more than one romantic soulmate relationship, deep soul bond in this lifetime. I have had many. And I've also dated many that have not been, we didn't enter like relationship, but soulmates are pretty easy for me to recognize. And my soul knows that I'm just bored with anything that doesn't have that depth. So like the way normal people date is the way that I date soulmates. It's just like, I don't know that I would recommend it, but I don't know that I can do it any differently. So the reason why most people, the far majority of the population, is not given more than one deep soul connection, there are a lot of reasons, and I'll start diving into that. One, they're deep. They're deep. They have big spiritual ties. So if you want to exit a soulmate relationship at the romantic level and move into a new one, etherically, I'll explain this, okay? As best as I can for now, actually, and then if I need to go into depth further in another stream, I will. Soulmates become very territorial. So whenever I exit one relationship and enter into another one, even if it's not a long-term thing or what have you, I'm like, how do I even explain this? The soulmates all tend to come forward etherically and start like bargaining or getting territorial. And this happens to me a lot, and I have to set so many different boundaries, because also This is so funny that I'm like giving this level of detail, but whatever, it's just what's coming forward. Also, it's like these are people that I have not been intimate with, a lot of them, and or maybe I only went on 1 date or 2 dates, but a soul bond is strong and they really come through. And when you are in your true authenticity of your own soul, like I don't have masks, like I am me, I am my soul self. That bond is like amplified, and whether or not people understand it intellectually, they can feel your soul because you're allowing your soul to be seen. And now I remembered a track I was going to go on earlier. You will be given access to more soulmate relationships, like friendships, like people, soul family you want in your life really consistently. The more you allow yourself to be seen as who you truly authentically are. That is the signature. When you shine your bright little light on the grid, as you are, channeling your true authentic self, which is your soul self, soulmates come right in because they go, oh, I remember her. Oh, I remember him. And then that's like how you magnetize in the people that you're going to want in your life that have the most depth, that are the most supportive, that are going to travel with you as you grow, as you develop, as you become better versions of yourself, higher versions of yourself, as you step on a higher timeline, they'll grow with you. Okay, so backtracking, going back over to the romantic side. People aren't usually given many different romantic relationships because it's challenging to set the terms, to enter and exit from those, like, I won't call them karmic contracts, but they can be, soulmate contracts, okay, soul contracts. And even someone like me that's very adept at my channeling ability, my spiritual abilities, my psychic abilities, it's still a lot. It's like when you're engaging with soulmates at the romantic level, there's so much terms and agreements going on behind the scenes, that if you want to like step into a new relationship, I don't know how else to say it. It gets very messy. It's entangled, and everyone's entangled with each other. and one soulmate can feel another soulmate in your fields. So it's just like, it gets messy, man. It gets messy. I don't know that I'm a huge fan of it, like I said, but I also don't think I can like dumb this down for myself. I think this is just what I signed up for. What do I want to say about that? I guess when you think about getting into soulmate relationships or attracting in soulmate relationships, ask for the right soulmates that are doing their work. Because I guess this is kind of a cautionary thing. I'm giving you guys, like, I'm going to write a book on galactic relationships at some point because I've truly been schooled in it. And all my friends are like, can you tell me what these soul bonds are or what's going on? And like, I can just see the things. So, oh my gosh, I'm getting a little self-conscious that you guys will see. I just get vulnerable. It's easier if I call out what's happening emotionally for me to stay present on stream. Anyway, I'm like, are people gonna like this? Do you guys even want to hear this from me? And then I'm like, I know I've got exes following me too. And I'm like, I don't know. Sorry, not sorry. I just gotta say what I gotta say. That's it. I'm feeling a lot of energy release out of this. Whoever this is meant for, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to share some funky soulmate wisdom with you. Okay, discernment. Discernment is the biggest thing you need to know about soulmate relationships. Soulmate relationships, again, are just a very strong soul bond. They're very magnetic. They feel like your other half, all of them. Now, other half, I say almost in jest. It just means that they're a puzzle piece and you can feel that. You can feel that click into place. When it comes to soulmates, and again, this isn't for everyone, most of you will be given the one, and the one will be the perfect one for you. I'm almost jealous of that. I'm like, oh, it feels so much easier than what I've had to go through. Because your angels are looking out for you and like, don't make this more complicated. But whatever the hell I signed up for, it's been complicated. I I feel like I'm being the most authentic right now too. All right, so what do I want to say about that? The words fuck around and find out are coming forward. Be careful what you wish for. I guess what I'm saying is if you're wishing for a lot of soulmates or to date soulmates, they're territorial because there's a strong soul bond. They don't generally like when someone new steps in. I've had to do a lot of cleanup work to keep my contracts, my soul contracts clean. Most of you won't have to do that because spirit meets you with your abilities. So I do that because those are my abilities. They're part of my strengths. It's part of what I was given in this life. So I'm able to navigate it. If you don't have those abilities, you will certainly not have to negotiate those things at all. Thanks, Jackie. I'm feeling like, I don't know how I'm feeling. Great. That's how I'm feeling. I feel totally like myself, like I can come on stream and run my mouth and that, and that's okay. It's been some healing. Soulmates are just soul bonds. And that's not to discredit a really beautiful true love. That's kind of a different territory. Oh, I'm happy to see you here too, Official Nax, and the rest of you that pop in the stream. Jackie, I saw as well. All right. What do I want to say? Not all soulmates are good. I have some deep soul connections that have done some wild betrayals. That's also something, again, this is just like, I don't know why this needs to be said, but it does. I can feel the channel moving through. So I'll just educate whoever needs this. When you are betrayed by soulmates, the betrayals go so flipping deep. They don't, you know, those are the ones that you feel like stickiness around, like I can't get over this. Why is this happening? Now, I'm not as affected by them anymore because I just, I don't even know what to say. Like, I only have time for my brightness. Like, at this point with the amount of relationships I've had to move through, like karmic, family, extended family, soulmates, deeper soulmates, like, I don't know, like, it's all like, I see it all the same. I'm like, if somebody does an act of betrayal, whatever that is, I'm just like, okay, we'll move through it. I'm gonna heal because I'm not letting that shit hold me back. Because I don't have time for it. Like, and then this will make sense for some of you. It depends on the level of mediumship and healing work you can do. But a lot of us, like me, will claim the entirety of the responsibility of the soul contract just because I don't want to be on the hook for someone else's bullshit. So I'll heal everything from my side. And that clears all of the contractual obligations, and I'm able to do that and then move through it. I don't know who that is for, but I know that will resonate with a small percentage of you that need to hear that. Also, okay, one of my friends is interviewing me for a podcast shortly. She's another psychic medium, and I think we're going to be diving into like the depths of some of these, I don't know about soulmates specifically, but some of these like more etheric contracts and how we move through information and how we like I had a conversation with her last week where we were in sync around like you can claim the entirety of the responsibility of the contract and then like digest it, alchemize it, claim it if the other person's not willing to do the work. Because if they're not willing to do the work and they just hold on it, they're holding you in contract without fulfilling the contractual obligations. I don't know how to explain that in a more human way. So if that resonates, cool. If it doesn't, just, I guess, don't worry about it or ask me more questions below. But a lot of the way that I'll do my healing work is I claim the entirety of the contract, heal it through myself, and then just let them go. And whoever's meant to stay with you will stay with you. Whoever's meant to grow with you will grow with you. Some people leave and come back. That's cool too. Some people are always with you, always growing with you. Some people need space apart. Both romantic and platonic. Like it doesn't even matter. Like it's like soulmate relationships are so fluid. I see them as fluid, and I've really not had a problem with allowing people in and out of my life. That's also part of my ascension practice and has been since I was younger, is that I hold very loosely to all relationships. Like I just, that's the way I love. I love in a very open way. So, which I think is the healthiest, at least for me. So it's like, if something doesn't work, I'm like, okay, bye. And I'm like, if you come back, okay, whatever. Like, if I want to leave, I'm like, okay, bye. And if I want to come back, I'm like, okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I could have just allow that fluidity of relationship, because I think for me, I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone else, but literally, I think for me, that's how I'm able to embrace the most amount of unconditional love for myself and my offer for others is like, I never want to hold someone to be something that they're not. And I never want to be held to something that I'm not. And sometimes, and that's just sometimes, a lot of times, most of us need to go through phases and patterns of karmic behaviors in order to learn about ourselves. Again, it's the fuck around and find out. You know, it's like, it's not always bad to do that. Like sometimes you just gotta fuck around to find out. Like, like, I don't know how else to say it. You know, so many spiritual practitioners and spiritual leaders will like encourage you to be perfect, and you're supposed to get it right every time and make all the perfect choices. Let me be the bearer of the good news. Every choice is a perfect choice. If you're on a channel like this, if you're interested in material like this, that feels like a confirmation for me. I'm sure you guys could hear that jet. You're in the territory of wanting to grow, of wanting to be a better version of yourself, of stepping into higher timelines. And spirit is not telling you like you have to point A to point B, like go the most direct, perfect looking path. Spirit is like, why don't you find out who the fuck you are? Why don't you just do what you feel called to do and trust that along the way you're going to get where you need to go, because you can't screw it up. You really can't. If you're in spirit, if you're in source, if you are attentive to your highest timelines, growth, becoming the best version of yourself, letting go of anything that doesn't serve you, you can't screw it up. Like, any choice that you make that wasn't the perfect choice or a good choice for you will just be rerouted. Like, you will be shown how to course correct. There is no perfect standard. Like, my guides literally have been saying to me every day, they're like, stop, like, I'm not even kidding you guys. My guides have been like, stop asking us what is right for you. They're like, just do it and allow everything to conform to you. Because when you are in spirit, right? When you are inspired, hi Drea, when you are with spirit, when you are with source, you can't screw your life up. Our angels and source are guiding you through. They're allowing you to play, to expand, to make sense of your life. Official next. Oh, I'm happy that resonated with you. Dre, I'm happy to crash you live as well. Yeah, oh my gosh, I feel so fucking grateful to share this with you guys, because like literally I could feel the love in my heart. Because these have been hard lessons for me, and I'm happy to share them. You can't screw it up. And something, and oh gosh, this is the tangent I'm going on, and then I'll circle back to some more of the soulmate stuff. But some of the things that I've really, really embraced is non-judgment. Being spiritual doesn't, it's a state of being, okay? And I'm going to put this out there because I know that we get very polarizing around what's spiritual. And grateful for you as well. I don't want us to be ever in a place of judgment, because you are not an appropriate judge of someone else's behavior or whether or not it's spiritual for them. Those of us that are on a spiritual path, and I do say it in quotes and I make it pretty generic because you might not think that person's on a spiritual path, but they are. And I don't really think we have any judgment about any of it. Non-judgment's really important. I have dear friends that are highly spiritual that I would trust with channeling for me in our discussion, that are just like so perfectly lovable, that have very different lifestyle habits than me. I don't know how else to explain this. It's like, we are given we are encouraged, spirit encourages us to play in our humanity. Some of that play is going out to clubs. Not for me, but for like some of my friends. Some of that play is drinking for some of my friends. Not for me, but I see how good that is in the way that they do that for themselves. Some of that play, I don't know, are the constant ayahuasca ceremonies I hear people going through. Some of that play are more gray relationships. I don't want to call them toxic, but it's like watching people learn through relationship. Even if there is a level of karma or toxicity, it's like allowing that to happen, because that's what they need to learn, without like overtly hurting themselves. You know, it's like, I really, and please don't take any of this out of context. I'm just sharing what I feel like is real with you guys. It's like taking some of the weight or pressure out of being spiritual. You know, you could look spiritual and not really be that spiritual. And there's a bunch of people running around that don't look spiritual at all, that are like spiritual as fuck. So just like hold your judgment and really just attune to yourself and be like, what do I want to do? How do I want to express myself? And am I going to allow myself that expression, whatever it is? Do I trust spirit to move through me no matter the expression I choose? How clear am I on my own level of self-love? Because if you are in internal conflict, all of the people will reflect that conflict back to you. It's our job to set clear boundaries to external conflicts and internal conflicts as well. Because sometimes I feel like I don't really have that much internal conflict at this point. I feel like I'm very, very clear with who I am. And then sometimes people come in with a lot of conflict. And at that point, this has been happening a lot recently for me. I'm looking at these relationships and I'm going, what does this reflect to me? I'm like, no, doesn't resonate. No, I don't have that shit in me. And then at that point, it's just setting a really hard, firm boundary, like GTFO, like, no, I'm not available for this. That doesn't reflect anything negative about me, because I've owned those parts of myself and I don't feel triggered about it. And my point to that is sometimes the karma is just setting a hard boundary, saying, I am not available for this behavior, whatever that is. Self-respect is the way through. I hope this is tracking. I feel like I'm going on like crazy tangents. I don't know that my thoughts are that organized, but if they are, great. If they're not, well, at least I just acknowledged it. So also, that's a big part of all of this. The more authentic you are, just claim it. Whatever's going on, just claim it. If you claim it, somebody else can't like get to you with anything because you've claimed it. I feel like a goofball now. Okay, so back to soulmate relationships. What do I want to talk about? I wrote soulmate twins and divine counterparts. Let me think about how I want to dissect that. Twin flames. That's just a term that people use online that really I'd like to kind of massage out, because there's so much attachment to the idea of what a twin flame is. What I will say is we can just call them divine counterparts. Okay, so like what people think of as twin flames, if we remove all the toxicity, because there's a lot of toxicity in some of that online, it's really just like the idea that there is a one person for you, which of course is true. Now, part of that depends on where you are in your growth. We have different timelines, lower timelines and higher timelines. Our lower timelines are more karmic based, and our higher timelines are more dharmic based, more destiny based. When people think about true love in the more standard sense, that is a more destiny based contract. True love is unconditional love. In order to receive and emanate unconditional love, you have to do a tremendous amount of healing. Like, if you're on this planet, you're probably not just stepping into a true love contract. Like, we're all damaged in some way. So then it comes down to like, have you done your work? If you are asking for true love contracts, if you want your one true love, have you been doing your work? And if you have, great, keep going. What those contracts are, I'll try to just break this down a little bit. People call them divine counterparts. Official knacks will just say, I'm about to meet my counterpart soon. Cute. Yeah, there's a readiness about divine counterparts. You can't, how do I want to say this? you can't lose them, I want to say, but could you? It depends on your choices. I mean, as long as you, I don't want to incite fear, actually. Let's just sidestep that. Destiny contracts, true love contracts, divine counterpart contracts are the relationships that are selected for you by God in your highest timelines. I like that. I just channeled that in that way. That feels right. That feels right. Could you meet them on a lower timeline? I think it depends on your growth and healing. I think Source will allow you to meet them on a lower timeline if it propels you into the higher timelines. That is going to be different for everyone. I've heard a lot of different channels and mediums talk about twin flame and divine counterpart contracts in different ways. Ultimately, let me paint the big picture. A divine counterpart, a twin flame in the highest sense, not the toxic sense, is a true love contract. It is equal healing, meeting on equal territory. It is filling in the gaps of each other's experience. Generally speaking, it's like whatever you've mastered, they have the opposite mastery, and then it's like there's a completeness about that. Not that the other person's completing you, but it's like giving you a realm of opposite experience to draw upon. Kind of like the yin yang symbol, if you guys think about that. It's like a merging, I don't know how to describe this, like a merging of opposite sorts of experiences. Let me think about how to explain this. So it's like, I don't know, this is the way they're showing it to me. I don't know that this is perfect, but this is what's coming through is like, okay, so let's say you have someone that's one person is like highly diplomatic, right? Like knows exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it, to whom. Let's say that's like an energy, right? And let's just like paint the other person perhaps is like bold, audacious, give zero fucks, will do whatever the hell they want. Like not in a bad way, but like the expansion of that, like, I don't even know what I would call that energy, just bold, right? That can be like an opposite situation. And then when they come together, like let's say there's a counterpart situation, both of those energies exist in harmony because each person is holding the polarity and then bringing it together. So it's like you glean off the benefits from the growth of the other person for what they're holding for you, for themselves, but that you're learning off of essentially. Now, divine counterparts, what else do I want to say about this? We think the highest versions of this, the highest timelines these are growth oriented relationships, not in a karmic way. Okay, I will touch on that as well. But these are like you're growing together spiritually. You're growing together emotionally. You're growing together physically. I'm being given so much data right now. I'm like, I don't want to overcomplicate the information I'm feeding through to you guys. So I'm just like quickly sorting because I can read all of the subtleties in between like the gray of the polarities within these contracts. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot of data. I think we need to make it a little more polarized so it's easier to understand. The way that I like to see divine counterpart energies, these deep soulmate relationships romantically are healed relationships. You're in contracts where you're agreeing to heal and be healed consistently. Not triggered by karmic bullshit. I want to add that as like a side because a lot of people confuse, I mean, they may be soulmate relationships, but they'll confuse and be like, this is my counterpart, this is my twin flame, but it's like really toxic because there's a lot of that karmic weight in the relationship. And I'll touch on this in a sec too, but we can have deep soulmate relationships that are also karmic relationships. And that tripped me up in the past. And that trips a lot of people up because you can feel the depth of the soul bond. So you assume they're your counterpart, but if it also comes with highly toxic karma, like, are they a counterpart? Only if you agree to it. Like, it's really like, can you let go of the idea that the depth of a connection is like, pause, am I back on? Oh my gosh, I forget to turn my text off when I run the stream. The depth of the relationship, most people, when they feel that level of depth, they deal with more dysfunction karmically because they feel the depth and they're afraid to let go of that person or let go of the idea that there's like a one person for them. So they frequently will agree to compromise on health, essentially. Emotional health, mental health. This is where, like, for example, you could have a soulmate that's a narcissist. I don't know if people talk about that. That shit's real. So it's like, which stage of healing are you entering? Are they as willing to heal as you? How drastic is the difference? And just because there's a soul bond, because you can feel that level of love alongside the toxicity with situations like that. And I don't know why I'm talking about it. And I've been through it, and I think we just need a voice around just talking about that. Like, you can have a deep soul bond with someone that will feel like they're a counterpart energy for you because there's the depth of that love. That love can go very, very deep. And they can also be highly toxic and highly karmic. And I don't know how people describe them. Most people see those as twin flame relationships in the more typical way, how people speak about twin flames. Oh gosh, I feel like I'm running circles because I'm like, it depends on like which part of this conversation I want to flesh out. Because twin flames are also really beautiful. It just like depends on what side of the conversation or facet we want to look at. A lot of people, when they think twin flames, they think deep soul bond with deep toxicity. They're like, oh, I have to deal with this because he's my partner or she's my partner, but they're my twin. And it's like, just stop. Like, throw it in the trash. Like, I never thought I would become this person, but I have. So I'm like, if it's highly toxic, like, yeah, like the love is real, but like, do you want to engage with that? Like, what? Like, who are you? Drea, LOL. Yeah. Like, I feel so authentic right now because I've been very hesitant about talking about this shit because I'm like, which ex is going to be upset with me? Like, who's going to, like, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I just don't care anymore. Like, this is truth. I got to be here to speak what's going on. If I upset anyone, I'm sorry. Not sorry. Like, you're clearing a lot of stuff for me. Oh, I'm glad because I feel like I'm a little bit of a hot mess in my description. So, thanks, Treya. I know, I try to keep it real to give you guys the perspective there. For me, I have been very polished in the past and very reserved and very like, I'll only say what's popular. And I have such good relationships around me right now. Jackie, you said it's beautiful. I'll read the rest of that comment after I jump off too. Yeah, I have such good soulmate relationships right now, friendships, like really, really just, I love them. They're magic. I feel blessed. They are each showing me through their own work because we're all kind of meeting on the same level right now. Like when you're timeline jumping with your soulmates, because they're the only ones that are jumping with you, they are doing their work as well. So what each of my soulmates has reflected back to me, especially in the last year, but really recently, is that they're like, Emelina, stop putting so much credit on what other people think. Like, who cares? And you guys know that I think that way, but I have to be reminded constantly because I've still got this constant voice that's like, oh, polish, oh, what are they gonna say? Oh, is that, what's appropriate? And I'm like, whatever is appropriate is whatever I say. Whatever I say is appropriate. And that's like what my dear friends are teaching me. And I love that they hold me to that standard because it's really like, emphasizes again, like you can't screw it up. When you're on the spiritual path, you cannot screw it up. Jonathan, I just saw you pop in as well. The archangels are wonderful. They are. Okay. Back on track. Okay, we'll get there. So counterparts. I think a lot of you are going to track with me because I don't feel like the people in my audience are going to be the people that are looking for their other half, the twin flame that completes them, that, oh my God, I can't let them go. That, I don't know, that, you know, it gets so dramatic, you know, like, it's just like, when people think about twin flames, they get really dramatic about it. I don't know what else to say about that. I don't even know that I have to cover it, but I just feel like I do right now. So that is what I'm doing. I love that you guys are saying hello to each other in the comments as well. I love this. I love all of this. I love it. I want to be like you when I grow up. Do you? I adore that. Drea, you're a magic sauce by yourself. You're doing the work over there. Oh my gosh. Okay. What's funny on that, not caring what other people think, I'm surrounded by relationships with people that enforce that within me. They reinforce it with me. Like, for example, dear friend of mine, is, you know, I would run things by her. I'm like, well, I don't know if I can say this on stream because she's in the same industry as me. I'm like, can I say this to people? How are they going to interpret it? And she's like, who cares? She's like, if it comes through you, it's spirit. She's like, stop putting so much pressure on it. And I was like, oh, like I could just do that. I don't have to like think about all these levels of responsibility. And then I see like how she runs her life and I'm like, oh, maybe I don't. Like she's so scot-free about this. I'm like, yeah, I want to do that too. One of my other friends, ex-law enforcement, like she's a BA. She's also one of the most spiritual women I have ever met. And we've been friends since I was 17. And she is just, gosh, she is the like voice of God, like in the most like saintly way, and also is an ex-cop. So she tells me all the time, she's like, I don't know why we're going into this, but we are right now. She's like, Emelina, you are so sweet. She's like, speak to people sweetly. That's fucking great. But then when they don't hear you because they're not on your level, you gotta speak to them on your level. On their level, sorry. And sometimes you just gotta speak the language of asshole so that they get it. And that's also hilarious. And that's like a big lesson I've learned. And let me tell you, that one works for me. I don't know if it works for you guys, but for me, that's worked. It's always like speak sweetly. And then if they don't get it, then start speaking their language. Start setting some boundaries in a way they can understand, because not everybody can understand. I don't want to say spiritual boundaries, conscious boundaries. Not everybody can understand it. So sometimes we got to tell them in a way that is very well understood at the human level. Anyway, all right. I'm just vibing over here. I'm just happy you guys are with me. Okay, I'm going to skip back over to true love contracts, divine counterparts. What I will say, your ability to attract that sort of a relationship has to do with, I would say it's based on your own personal healing. And whether or not you're willing to heal and grow with another human. Because I feel like there's this idea in the collective where it's like, okay, you both like these two humans, like it's like true love at first sight, which is beautiful as well. And that is also real. I was like, I don't want to like sidestep. I'm like, actually, I believe in that. But it's like, I don't know where he's going at that. I literally don't know. We've got all of me here right now. It's based on what you allow. Oh, this is where I was going with that. So there's this idea in the collective that like people are like perfect and then they come together when they're perfect and everything is perfect. Let me blow the fucking windows and doors off of the house for you right now. Divine counterpart relationships are not perfect. They are just chosen, but they are not perfect. There's a lot of this idea in the collective around romantic relationships that like, if it's not easy, if it doesn't flow right out of the gate, it's like not meant for you, like walk away. Bullshit, you guys. Bullshit. I have a lot of friends that are married to deep soulmate relationships. And let me tell you, they have filled me in. I've done my own channeling and then I've got my own experience. And across the board, it's just not true. It's highly unlikely that it will come in that clean because soulmates have deep soul bonds. Those soul bonds are highly triggering to the parts of you that are attached to toxicity within you. So when you enter any sort of a relationship with another soulmate, which might be like, it might be like a date. It might be, and again, romantic like blows this up more. It makes it more dramatic. Platonic is easier because you're not exchanging sexual energy, even etheric sexual energy. So it just makes it a little bit easier. Romantically, the intention is romantic. So it hits on more levels. So it's more dramatic in the way that the triggers show up for you. Like, I don't know. I had a conversation with one of my friends months ago where I was like, gosh, we always get along so well. I love all of this. And then I looked at them and I was like, you know what? It's probably because we're not sleeping together. Like, like, you know, that would like add a whole other level of like, I probably wouldn't like you so much anymore. There's like, it would be more triggering. So my point to this is these relationships don't look perfect. But the point is that the love is there. And that's how you can tell that it's right for you. And when I say love, I don't mean surface level love. I don't mean like they just do things in a surface level way. I mean like deep, unconditional love. They do not try to change you. They don't try to fix you. You're not trying to change them. You are not trying to fix them. There is deep self-acceptance. There's deep acceptance of the other person and what they've been through. There's absolutely no judgment on either side of the equation. Good boundaries make good friends. Yeah, I agree. Good boundaries make good lovers as well. The ADHD is kicking in, you guys. I'm like, which I will shoot a video on soon because I really do think it's a superpower. But it also means that I get sidetracked easily. Maybe one of you guys remind me what I was saying. I don't know. Maybe it'll come up. I'm just happy to be here and be talking and have attention around all of that and speak my truth in the way that is truthful for me, which is a little like zany. So, okay, so my point is these relationships can look messy externally. They're frequently not what friends and family would say is like acceptable or like, I don't know. There's a difference between, this is how I'll say it, okay? No shade. There's a difference between muggle relationships and soulmate relationships, all right? We're just gonna say it like that because I think you guys are gonna understand what I'm saying. Muggle relationships are human relationships. They are human to human karmic relationships, okay? Then there are soulmate relationships and divine counterparts. Those of us that are in dynamics, that are in dynamics of soulmate relationships, explaining those relationship dynamics to the muggles that are in muggle relationships or human relationships, the muggles will be like, that's nonsense. It should be way easier. Kick that shit out. And they'll guide you right into a karmic contract. Like, yeah, if you have friends like that, like, they'll be guiding you into something easy, something no pressure. They're essentially something not committal at the soul level because it won't be triggering for all of you to be there. They'll just like hold you to be in a muggle relationship, which I don't know. No shade, not for me. Like, I am not here for that. I'm like, bring me the true love. Like, that is all I am here and available for, and I expect that for myself as well. But the reason why I'm saying this is because I think people get really mixed up with soulmate relationships when they are in actually counterpart relationships or good relationships, is that those relationships don't look very popular to to standard human courtship, standard human relationships. The soulmate relationships will look very messy in comparison to a human relationship. The reason why the human relationships are cleaner is because they don't have a soul bond. So it's easier to look easy. It's easier to look good. It's easier to have a standard typical dating protocol because they're not triggering the demons within you. Can we just be real? Because the bond isn't deep enough to go to the depths of your soul experience, shake it out, and go, have you seen this shit? Have you dealt with it? I know I did that in another stream too around soulmates. It's like, have you seen this? Have you healed this? Did you notice this like discrepancy in your soul experience? It's the difference between surface level relationships and deep relationships. And I don't know if you guys will vibe with me on this, you probably will, but at this point, I'm just completely, I have a zero tolerance for surface level relationships. A zero tolerance for surface level conversation. I don't have it. I don't have it in me. People are like, oh, how's the weather? And I'm like, how's your shadow work going? Let's talk about your mom. Let's like, what trauma have you resurfaced recently that you're working through? Now that's me. But it's real. I've just kind of like accepted that about myself recently. I'm like, oh gosh, I didn't even realize until recently. I'm like, I have a zero tolerance for any level of surface. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm like, go deep or go home. Like, just, I don't know. I want to understand the fullness of a human experience. Like, I don't want this like, I don't know how else to describe it. Like, I'm here for the whole thing. And if we can't go to that level, I'm just not going to be interested, attracted, or present. And I have a zero tolerance for that because I'm always present. So I'll just remove myself from whatever situation. I don't care what the Kardashians did yesterday. That's a funny comment. I don't even know, you guys. Like, I don't follow celebrities. I don't put anybody, also this is a side note, I don't put anybody on a pedestal. I don't have idols. I don't follow it because I just don't care. I just strive to be me. That's what I do. I strive to be me, and I won't say look up to because I don't look up to people. I will acknowledge and reverse engineer the traits of people that also do that for the fullness of themselves. So if there are celebrities that I notice are the most of themselves, I'll look at it and I'll like reverse engineer, like, wow, I really like how bold and transparent they are, how much of themselves they are, and then I'll just adopt that. So I mean, it really just comes back down to like me being like, I'm just here to be me. I'm just here to be me. There's no one for me to look up to but my highest timelines. Because I like to be so, I don't know how I'd say this. It's like self-focused, but it's more that I don't want to bring in other things into my reality that aren't me. So I don't know how else to explain it. You know, with creatives or with artists, this is definitely an artist thing. And most of the creative people I've met throughout my life, like professional creatives, a lot of us don't like to have a lot of example of what other people are doing in the industry, because then we end up just becoming a copycat to that. I really value original thinking. I value original thought. And there are so many aspects of myself that I'm like, I don't know if I'd hear my own true authentic voice enough if I was following what everyone else was doing or following all these celebrities or whatever other nonsense is going on. Like it just, I think it would be harder for me to know what I want and what is a personal authentic expression for me. For someone else, that might be a very different story. If you guys haven't gathered yet, I am very non-judgmental and I'm very all-accepting. And I've been like that since I was young. This was calling me, so I'm bringing it forward. Do you want to know the story about this? I've been working a lot with the elementals, and I went to the beach, and this piece of driftwood literally called to me, and my fairy guardians were like, go take that home with you. And I was like, oh gosh, okay, I'll do it. And then I put this Lemurian quartz at the top, and now I have a staff channel, and I'm actually able to channel the higher aspects of myself with the staff, and I love it. I love it. And I literally just I was like, okay, what's next? They're like, you're on target. It's my higher guidance system. You felt a beautiful energy. Yeah, it's like, it's me, but it's like me packaged in this thing. They call it staff channeling. I haven't like researched it much, but one of my coaches recommended it like a couple of years ago, and I've been waiting for the channel to come forward because they'll select you. These are like shamanic things, druid things. And this crystal literally asked to go at the top. And this is like, it's a green Lemurian quartz. I don't care how much of a dork some of you think I am as well, by the way. Like, this is who I am. I do collect driftwood. I do attach crystals to it. I do channel with it like a wizard. That's what I do. That's what I do. That just centered and refocused all of my energy as well. Okay, so I think I covered on the true love enough. If you guys need more on that, let me know in the comments, or if you want me to draw out true love more, I'll try to explain that. You want to... Wait, Drea, what do you mean? You want to cry like for real? Or you want to cry laughing? I'm good for both. Okay. I touched on this already, why we're not giving many soulmates. You guys feel blessed if you only have like one romantic soulmate. Gosh, it's so much easier. The reason why my guides have given me many, I was very, how do I say this? When I got out of my last relationship, I just demanded soulmates. I was like, like, I don't know. I was kind of stubborn about it. I was like, don't give me any humans. I don't want this human nonsense. I had, which also though, let's touch on, I had one human fling for a bit. And that like changed my whole world around too, because I realized that when you're both at the same vibrational frequency and you come together, even without a soul bond, you can, I don't even know how to describe it. You can create a really beautiful, harmonious, potent relationship with a non-soulmate partner. For those of you that need to hear that. I feel like that's a specific message for someone. You don't have to be with a soulmate. Like my guides, my experience put me in a scenario with someone that was not a soul bonded relationship, but it was beautiful in a lot of different ways that would mimic a soul relationship. Drea, the connection with the staff. Oh, you might need one. Put it out there cosmically. Yeah. If you look up, I haven't dove into it, but if you look up, I think it's called like Norwegian staff channeling, but it is like a druid channel. It's like a druid technique. It is more elemental, so think like fairies, elves, gnomes, and you kind of just make it your own. Actually, I have a couple friends that have staff channels as well. Sometimes we're just guided into it because it helps us like ground. It helps pull the current through your body. I'm happy you like it. I'm happy I shared it. I feel a little bit like a dork sharing it, and I'm like, I don't know who's going to be into this, but I'm happy you are. And I'm happy to share it. Maybe I'll make a video specifically just on this guy by himself, herself. It's got equal divine feminine and divine masculine energy, which I really, really love. Which is just my energy. Like it's like the higher aspects of myself coming through the channel, through the staff. I don't remember where I was. I was talking about human. We call them muggle relationships. One of my coaches would call them. They'd be like, "Are you dating a muggle now?" And I was like, "Hey, I'm dating a muggle now. Is that okay?" But anyway, I was kind of stubborn with my. I don't want to say stubborn in a bad way, but just like I get bored if there isn't a lot of soul data. It's just hard for me. Like I just get bored easily. So I kind of demanded through my dating to only receive soulmates, and then that opened up a whole can of worms, which is why I've got all this experience now. But even in that, the way that you can navigate soulmate relationships is look for compatibility. The more soulmates you're exposed to, just in general, I feel like this is like my little talk show right now. I've had to get very, very good with compatibility. Like very good with like, is this what, and not just compatibility with the other person, but just like compatibility of lifestyle. Like what would the relationship with that person look like long-term? And do I see that in myself? Do I want to become that person, or is there something different that I want? And I feel like I've gotten very good because of this exposure that I needed for myself at understanding what I want for myself, for my life, and what sort of partner would be able to support me in that and me support them as well. I'm being led here. This is going to be for a whole nother stream at some point. For those of you that are in telepathic relationships, let's talk about that, okay? Okay, so these are not spoken about freaking ever. I don't think I've ever heard about it on YouTube or anywhere else. Here's the deal. Those of you that have shamanic abilities, we are like a type of person. It's a certain type of psychic know-how, not just psychics. The more shamanic, I don't know how else to explain it. They're like, when we say shaman, there's like a specific set of skills that comes around that. Nobody talks about this shit publicly. It would have helped me a lot had someone told me about it years ago. Pretty much every shaman I know has had a purely telepathic romantic relationship that never grounded itself physically. So, if that's happening to any of you, whoever this message is for, you are not crazy. This shit is real. And it really like tests our perception. Not just perception. I don't know how else to describe it. It really tests us in a lot of different ways. I think all of my coaches have had telepathic romantic relationships that don't ground. And I have as well. I've had 2 that never grounded. And then I've had a lot of other soulmates approach me and want that. And I'm like, get the F out of here. I've had enough with the telepathic. I'll say, you guys got to track with me. I literally was going to say, I've had enough of the telepathic nonsense. But it's not a problem when you're in physical union with that person. Yeah, Drea. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you could meet them. Like I knew who these people were. It's just like, there's so many power dynamics that go on that it's almost like it's hard to anchor and tackle in 3D because so much gaslighting can happen around it. And these are soulmates. This is what I mean. Like soulmate relationships can be toxic. It's just like just like depends what lessons you're here to learn. The first telepathic romantic relationship I went through, I asked my guides when I got out of it. I was like, why the hell did you put me through that? And I had someone else channel on this for me, like another psychic medium. And they were like, honestly, your guides were like, Emelina, go have fun. You're going to learn your telepathy real fast. Like, you want to learn a language? You want to learn a new language? Go jump in. Like, you want to learn telepathic relationship? You want to learn telepathy? Like, that's what I got out of that relationship. I caught up so fast because he was ahead of me in some of these psychic abilities that I taught myself to. I already was telepathic, but it got really, really dialed in. Like, as a result of that one. But it's so interesting because my coaches and my dear friends that are shamans, everyone has had a non-grounded telepathic romantic relationship, like a real full-blown relationship. For those of you that don't know about and telepathic is not always like thought to thought. It can be empathy. It's like, it could be heart to heart. It's an exchange of relationship energies. It's an entanglement of a soul bond. And the sex at that level is real as well. It's just not physical, but it can express physically. But it's like, it's very interesting. Maybe I'll do a podcast episode about this, and maybe I'll do it with my friendsies that is also a medium. At some point, I will just very openly talk about these things because they're part of my experience, and I don't want to deny that for myself. And I know a lot of you are actually going through that. Like, pretty much every psychic medium I know, and every shaman I know has had a sexual, romantic, telepathic bonded union with someone that never grounded physically. Now, why does that happen? Because soulmate bonds are real, and when you have equal or similar like psychic skills, we kind of tend to throw it up in the ether and not ground it. they're hard to ground because then you got to deal with the human. Like, I don't know how else to describe this. It's like telepathically you can stay in the higher aspects of yourself, and it's like the other person won't ever get the human parts of you that we all try to like hide. We're like, but don't get to know my human, like, you know, like whatever the human aspects are, whatever parts of ourselves that we deny. Because when you're in like a real true divine counterpart union, you're falling in love with that person's shadow. You're falling in love with their ego. You're falling in love with their higher aspects. You're falling in love with their potential. You're falling in love with their actuality and their reality. You're falling in love with their growth. And I think for me, the aspect of discernment that's always the most helpful for me is, can you grow at the same pace that I grow? That's always where the discernment of relationships, where my attention is. Even in my friendships, it's like, can you grow at the same pace that I grow? Can we grow together? That's always what I'm looking for. Like, can we grow together, and can we love together? And can the love be ahead of everything else? Because at this point, I'm not going to be shy about this. Like, because I'm sure, I don't know, one of the perceptions I know some people have about me is like, they're like, oh, she's so sweet. She's like, what do they say? Like where they assume kindness as a weakness. I get that all the time from people. And it's like, there's a part of me that had to harden in life to be like less loving and less like in love. I am in love. I am with everything. Like, I'm always in a state of love. And if I'm not, I'm constantly bringing myself back to like that softness. Now, not everybody experiences that from me, because some people need to be smacked in the face. Okay. Like, we live on Earth. This is a reality. Sometimes somebody's gonna throw some shade at you. So, but all of that to say, I feel like I'm just constantly bringing myself to that softness, that like being in love. Now, I want to tell you guys, because this is coming up next. I did a number of ayahuasca ceremonies to clear out some really, really big karmic baggage. I didn't know I was going to do them either. We'll get into that on another stream. Spirit brought me down to Mexico to do some real healing work that I did not know I was going to be doing. But anyway, one of the things I asked Grandmother Ayahuasca is, what did I ask her? I said, is love at first sight real? And I told her, I was like, I'm just having trouble, like I can be such a skeptic. It's part of my polarities that I'm holding. Like, and just remember, I'm a Libra. Like, I'm the scales. I'm just like holding two polarities and then walking through the middle. That's always what I'm doing. And I'm as much of an advocate of like true love as I am like, what is this nonsense? Like, so it's just like, I don't know, that all lives within me at the same time. But I asked Grandmother Ayahuasca, I was like, is love at first sight real? And I told her, I was like, I'm just having trouble understanding or thinking that would be a real thing. And you know what she said to me? And it like blew me away. And I've just forever like taken this into, like, this is my new thing. Not new thing. This is like what I embody now all the time. Is she said, what's not love at first sight? And I said, what? And she said, what's not love at first sight? You should always be seeing through the eyes of love. Of course, love at first sight is real. And I was like, she schooled me. I felt so called out. And then I was like, oh, so I should always be in love. And she was like, yes. And I was like, so I should always see through love. And she was like, yes. And she was like, if it's not love at first sight, you know, I know we think that romantically, but it's more like, if you're not able to see the love in someone, through yourself, you're seeing through fear. You're seeing through your ego. You're seeing through a colored worldview. So part of my practice is always coming back to that and being an advocate of that. Jackie just said that was so deep. Yeah, thanks. Gosh, Grandmother Ayahuasca schooled me. Like, I kid you not. But she has such a gentle way of meeting everyone and wherever they are in their practice. And I really was so skeptical. She schooled me in true love in one of my entire sessions, which is why I have a tattoo that says true love was from that ceremony. We should love everyone. Yes. Just remember, part of loving everyone can be setting hard boundaries too, though. They're both like, we hold them both. Yeah. Love at first sight. Everything should be love at first sight. That's not to be naive. It's just to maintain your innocence and to be able to see love regardless of what other people are projecting, defining, whatever. I'll go into that on another stream. That's a whole like hour-long thing in itself. Soulmates. What do I want to say about soulmates? Soulmates carry, because we jumped into the telepathy. I don't know that I've ever not had a telepathic bond with a soulmate. Like, they're very strong. And one of my dear friends, it's a shaman, like called me out with my ex when he first met us. Like, like he would always be like, can you guys stop talking about me in front of me? And we'd be like, what? And he'd be like, you're just literally exchanging all the telepathy. But I wasn't like knowledgeable of it at that point because I was young. I don't know. I thought that was like hilarious. But like, yeah, all of you that are in soulmate relationships are going to be telepathic to a degree. Whether or not you're aware of it is a whole nother story. And again, telepathy, people think that's like reading thoughts. Not necessarily. Telepathy can come in a number of different ways. It's just a shared knowing. It can come in heart conversations. So like, let me think about how to break this down. There's the soul to soul communication, which comes through as just like a knowing. That's a level of telepathy where it's just like, you just send the information and they just get it. And you might not be doing that consciously, vice versa. There's telepathy that is mental, where you're actually having full thoughts and you're sending those full thoughts and they are conscious and aware and they're sending the full thoughts back. There's subconscious telepathy. I'll shoot a telepathy video. This clearly needs to happen. Where the subconsciouses are talking back and forth, or a conscious mind is talking to a subconscious mind. There is telepathy from the heart, which I would call empathy, but the heart can speak in an entirely different dialogue than the mind and will send that to soulmate partners, vice versa. There's an entire heart conversation or exchange that also is a level of telepathy. They're showing me like the dream telepathy, but I don't necessarily know how to break that down, where you're conversing astrally during the dream space. That's all I got for now. Anyway, that's very common with soulmate relationships, soulmate bonds. More on the romantic side. I don't typically have other soulmates contacting me etherically. Sometimes they do, but not much, because they'll just pick up the phone. Like, I don't know. The romantic connections is deeper because it includes more components of energy exchange. And because of that, there's like deeper communication as well. I think I have one, well, I don't want to talk about that. What do I want to talk about? Soulmate karmics I want to talk about. If you look this up on the internet, it's like kind of called false twins. You could be in a deep soulmate relationship that is also a karmic relationship. People tend to separate them. They're like, there are either human karmic relationships that are not soul bonded, or there are soulmate relationships that are not karmic. If I can be real with you, there's everything. There is everything. What caught me in my last long-term relationship is that there was a deep soul bond and there was a lot of karma. I didn't know the difference between those two things, but they can exist at the same time. So it is a karmic partner and a soul partner. And in those types of situations, you end up dealing with a lot more, and no shade to previous partners, but you end up dealing with a lot more compromise than perhaps you should, because it's like you feel like you want to honor the commitment and the love, because the love is present of the soul bond, but then there's also so much toxicity or like karmic arrangements at the same time. So it's like, I'm just trying to think about myself in that state of awareness. It was like the assumption that, oh, to have this level of soul bond, I have to deal with this karmic stuff. And yes, that's true. And that's true for a lot of people. And those typically fall into the category of twin flames. What most people think about are twin flame relationships are actually soulmate karmic bonds together. Now, even for me, I'm thinking back, the reason why I didn't think that was a karmic relationship is because I knew and I could feel and I had much confirmation on the soul bond of that relationship. And I was like, well, if we're soulmates, then this clearly isn't a karmic relationship. Not true. Because karmic relationships can show up in soulmate relationships. So it's up to us to discern what we want to, I don't want to say it like this, but this is how it's coming through, what we want to deal with in relationship. How much toxicity are you willing to deal with? When you're finally willing to deal with none of it, and you're only willing to show up in true, authentic love, and you and that's your offer as well, not just receiving, but it's both. It's a full exchange. When you're only available for that level of love, the depth of love, you know, and there's been this, oh gosh, what's that study that was done recently where they were talking about like the vibration of love is lower than there's actually a vibration that's higher, and it's authenticity. Let me cut through the BS there. It's still love. Love is still the highest vibration. Bliss is the highest vibration because authenticity is love. Like it's the same. It's real love. It's true love. It's love that cuts deeper, that goes deeper, that loves deeper. With full acceptance of yourself and the other. So it's almost like in these situations with the karmic soul partnerships, it's like, I don't know, you get cleared of it when you decide that you're not willing to compromise anything, and when you decide that you're going to heal completely. And I don't know that we're ever healed completely, but like there's like a synchronization of healing to the point where that soulmate's also healing to that point, and then you come together. Both from the place of willingness to just be in a state of love, even if other stuff looks messy. Because many of these divine counterpart relationships are very, how would I say this? They're like unconventional, or they look unconventional in some way. But what's tying these people together in harmonious relationship is the love. It's the true love. It's being willing to work together. It's being willing to grow together. It's being willing to love together. It's being willing to hold each other to the highest standard of our highest potential, but not in a way that feels like not with pressure, just like accountability. Like you're serving as accountability for each other to be able to step up through love, to rise through love. I know a lot of people talk about falling in love. There is also a rise to love. The fall generally happens first, which is why a lot of these soulmate partnerships don't look conventionally normal. Because even if there's a good syncing up initially, they generally fall apart immediately after, because there's like a rearranging of all of the soul data, because essentially your two souls are merging in the quantum field. This is why people say like you have one soul, is because when there's a soulmate arrangement like this with a divine counterpart, you're completely entangled, where your souls do become one soul. Like you do become one vibrational frequency with two bodies. Not necessarily finding the other half of your soul. It's actually an agreement where the two souls are like, and a lot of this is predestined. This is like source selected, God selected. Where there's an agreement, maybe not even consciously down here as a human, but at the soul level, there's an agreement to merge. So you merge. Like it's complete quantum entanglement. You share a mind, you share a heart, but you're in two separate expressions. Two separate bodies, two separate creative expressions of the same soul. But again, it's not like, how do I explain this? It's a merging. It's like, that's why they say better together. Like it's like both parts come together and create a new, more dynamic range for the soul. Yeah, they come together as one. It's like, it's really cool. It's less about like this person completing me. I don't love that idea. Or assuming that, you know, with twin flames, generally people talk about it as in like when the soul is born, it splits off into an opposite component. Actually, there are 24 of them. Just to give you guys reference, you can look for, go on my channel. I've got a bunch of videos on twin flames. But then there's like the unions from the human perspective that I think are actually more normalized than the actual like other half of your soul or one of the 24 components. I don't think there are many people in those at all, because I think they're hostile. If I could, like, the more I'm settling into the frequency, I'm like, it's too close to your own soul frequency. It's hard. I think there's a lot more of what I'm describing, which is a selection of two humans that are on the same growth path with the same soul mission with similar lifestyle choices. And God knows that. And God's arranging that for each and every one of us if we want it. And then from that place of agreement, you merge. It's kind of like, you know, when people get married, they're like merging families, merging finances. It's like similar at the soul level. Like you're merging. You're like, hey, here's everything I got. What's everything you got? Okay, we'll mix it all together. All right, this is like a powerhouse. That's kind of how I like to think about it. That powerhouse is like a shared soul experience, which is really just quantum entanglement from two souls that said like, we're down to vibe together. Like, I'm making this so like fun, casual for myself. I'm like, I love that I'm talking about soulmates from this perspective. Like, it's kind of like two souls just coming together and be like, you want to vibe? I want to vibe. Okay, yeah, we'll vibe together. This is a vibe. Like this just looks good. Let's just do this, and then you like merge. I don't know what else to say about that. But I think that perspective is perhaps a necessary one that I might break down more later. But for now, that's what I've got. What else do I want to say? We are each given, if we want it, a true love, like one partner. Like that exists for everyone if they want it. It's just about like your own growth, whether or not you want it, how you want to get on board with it. Free will is real as well, but you know, even if there is a one and that one doesn't work out, God's got another one right behind them, because free will is real. Not everyone, you know, you can meet a soulmate down here that like, this is actually one of my past ones. This was the telepathic relationship, one of the ones a couple of years ago. That was like a destiny partner, and anyway, free will got in the way of that. So what are you gonna do? I mean, you go, okay, like bring on the next one. Like I don't know, because humans are given free will, both good and, I don't want to say it's ever not good. I was gonna say both good and bad, but it's not necessarily bad. You're always given what you need. You're always given what you want. It's always gonna work out for you. You're always gonna like get the best of the best. But that like soul contract didn't work out for us. So so there's like another rung, another rank, I don't know, another soulmate that's better, that makes better choices, like steps forward. Hey Gemma, good to see you in here. So you're never without. God is always looking out for you. There's always a one, and if the one doesn't work, you'll be supplied with another one that does. I believe that. I don't believe I ever lose. I only believe in gain. What did somebody said to me the other day? They were like, oh, you like take lemons and make lemonade. I'm like, lemons aren't bad. I take all the good and just make more good things. I have a video on Inner Alchemy, if you haven't seen it, about lemonade versus wine that my guides channeled through me. Okay, I probably actually need to go get some work done. Not that this isn't work. This is also my work. Let me tap in. Is there anything else that I feel like needs to be said? Let's ask my channel, shall we? Well done. Put it to bed. That's what I got. If you guys enjoyed this, drop a comment below. Let me know. I know this isn't my, this is more like, I don't even know what this attitude I have right now is. Just like very casual conversation. If you like it, let me know. If you don't, find another video. But if you like it, let me know, because maybe I'll do more of them. Okay, yeah, let me look through your comments as well. And as always, if you guys vibe with me or you want to work with me in any way, I've got a couple of meditation albums I think you'll love. I will link them below after the stream. I've got personal one-on-one coaching programs, some online programs. You're welcome to email me if you're not sure how to work with me and want to know what would be best for you. My email I'll drop below as well, but it's wearewokeaf@gmail.com. And let me pull up your comments. Dun, dun. Oh, you guys left a ton of comments. I've also been on here forever. All right, my loves. Well, I'm happy to see you. I'm going to skim through quickly and see if there's anything that feels right to answer. Drea, We went through hell to get to a healthy, magical relationship. I totally believe that. And that's something as well, is that you can transition contracts midway where like you were karmic. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about these. You could have a karmic relationship with a soulmate and transition it to a destiny relationship if you're both on the same page. And those are really cool too. There are just so many options in relationships down here. And by down here, I mean on Earth. Official knacks. Apparently I'm supposed to be working with my counterpart making music together. That sounds beautiful. Jackie, we are never alone. Yeah, we've always got angels and guides. Official knacks. Sounds a bit scary to see spirits. I only see the good spirits, man. It depends on the levels to which you want to be able to see. Some of the mediums I'm friends with see ghosts and stuff. That freaks me out. I'm like not into it. So I don't mind talking to some of my ancestors that are honorable. They don't show up as ghosts for me though. They just kind of like show up as an energy that I hear. Thank you, Drea. Just love you, girl. Keeping it real. Yes, I always will just keep it real because I don't know what else to do. You guys are talking about the archangels. Cool. Jonathan said hi. Oh my gosh, you guys are talking about all these different entity types. I love this so much. Your dreams are insane right now. Yeah, there's a lot of dream ascension going on. That's actually when we're talking to most of our soulmates and stuff, is like in the astral realm. Most of you that aren't conscious about it are just doing it while you're sleeping. I don't dream that much actually because I'm so like astrally conscious, but sometimes I do. I'm just skimming through your comments. Just bear with me a sec. If you're over this, you can leave at this point. Drop me a comment though. Let me know if you like this or not, or what you resonated with more specifically. Oh my gosh, you guys are having, I love these conversations that are going on here. Damn, I want to get a staff now as well. Go do it. Go to the forest, find a good stick. I wouldn't pull anything off of a tree. That doesn't feel right to me, but anything that's like on the ground is like fair game. And ask for the fairies to guide you. The right staff chooses you. The right, what would I call that? Magical relics choose you. I've actually got a lot of past life stuff on magical relics. My guides tell me this all the time. It's why I'm so good at creating like the ascension technology to help you guys heal through all my different activations and meditations, is because of my expertise in relics. Magical relics, like my staff channel. Who doesn't love druids? Thank you, you guys. Jackie, I love this comment. Not all relationships are meant to last forever. People come and go in our lives, each to teach us one lesson or another. It's up to us to find out what it is. It's what my guide said to me this morning. Fuck around and find out. But they didn't say it in a weird way. Hi, Crystal. Oh, I'm glad you caught this as well. Yeah, my guides, when they say fuck around and find out, and they do talk to me like that, you guys. They are that candid with me. They don't say it in a mean way. They say it more like they encourage me to play. They encourage me to try new things. They encourage me to explore different aspects of myself so that I feel more grounded and more rooted in my authenticity. And the easiest way to know if something's right for you or not is to go get some experience. Which I feel like most people avoid, but I generally jump into it. I'm like, I don't know, we'll try it. Let's see where it goes. Gemma, I sent you massive love today, so claim it. Thank you! I receive it! What a gift, you guys. Thanks, Gemma. I'm sending you love as well. I saw you got the meditation album. I'm really excited for you. Let me know if you can't get into the, oh my gosh, the dashboard at all, or if you have any issues. I just want to make sure you get in and get access. And Crystal, I think that's what's happening with my husband of 17 years. It's transforming. Yeah, I'm so glad you guys brought this up. There are, again, it's like we renegotiate our soul contracts. You can be with someone that was a soulmate and a karmic partner and have that transition to a destiny contract, like in the middle of your relationship or there else. It really just depends on like what each party wants to do and how you want to transition and whether or not you're willing to do the work and if you want to stay together. But all of that is gorgeous and beautiful as well. Also, as always, no judgment for anything that you are in or not in, any of the choices you choose to make or don't make. Like, I'm just here to share the experience that I have because I've just got so much experience. I'm just being a voice of like, to give you permission to have many different options in your life about what it is you want to experience around soulmate relationships, what's possible for you, and then ultimately you are the dictator of the good things you get to receive in your life. And by me describing all of these different aspects that are available can allow you to kind of like sit and digest and chew on different ideas and be like, what do I want? Like, what do I want to experience? How do I want to grow with someone? What's available to me? And I think that's all really beautiful. I think we're all given a huge menu of options in this life, in this one precious life, on like what we want to do and how. And I'm just happy to show you some of the options so you can start picking and choosing as you please, you know, whatever feels the best and feels right for you. I think that's all I've got. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you so much for joining me on this stream. And I will see you in the next video and talk to you guys soon. All right, bye.